time here on the Sports Objective. I am Dave, ladies and gentlemen, along with Kyle from LaGrange Barber. How are you, man?
What's going on, fellas? Good news, good news, good news. Rudolph saved Christmas again this year.
I haven't had it's on my DVR. I was going to mention that. Thank you very much, sir. And I'll watch that later on. Bubba Rosenbaum, how are you, man?
Doing well, guys. Glad y'all are.
No doubt about it. Very excited to get a big win, 91-62 for East Carolina over North Carolina Wesleyan. And guys, I know that everybody says, well, they should win, but the good news is with everything going on with COVID, Kyle, it's crazy how the very fact we have games canceled and we think we're going to play here, and then to have this game and be able to get a victory is really big for us.
Yeah, if anybody knows about COVID, it's me. I was sick for over 2 weeks with it, tested negative, and then towards the end of it, as I've started to get better, I test positive. I had it the whole time. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. It's not why we're here. It's good to play games. We already had a couple games canceled. It was good we've been able to make them up. Got to play Charlotte, got a very nice win, and now Wesleyan. You would have hoped we could have got a D1 game with all the D1 teams in the area, but we'll take what we can get right now. And took care of business against Wesleyan tonight. Did not play well, I really don't think, particularly on the defensive end. But if you didn't play well against Wesleyan or somebody like of that ilk, we may win a close one or even get upset. Tonight we don't play well and we still blow them out.
Yeah, and one of the reasons is in the past we would have struggled against the North Carolina Wesleyan, and we probably would have won the game by 10, 12 points. But tonight, at halftime, that we were only up by 14, Bubba, and it looked like that it was going to be a tighter game. Pirates did a nice job of out of the break, they come out and they really put the game away. Yeah,
we did, and going back to the start, though, very much like the Charlotte game, we fell behind that one 20-10. This one we did have a lead. It was 13-11, something like that, 7 minutes in. But we were playing pretty sloppy, and at that point, and it didn't shock me to see us pour it on later. Like we've already said, against the Division III opponent, and we did what we would expect to do and what we would hope to do. There, when we only had that 2-point lead 7 minutes into the game, I think Brandon Sugg had a 3-point play. Noah Faircon got into the ball game, knocked down a couple threes, and that really jump-started us, and we built a 22-point lead at 43-21. But give North Carolina Wesleyan credit. They took advantage of our sluggishness, and they have a couple of very good players themselves, which I'll get to later on. And just McDowell, and then also I'm trying to remember the other young man's name, but they had tremendous games. McDowell had 23 against Coastal. He had 26 tonight against the Pirates. They closed the half on a run, and like they said, cut it to 14, 44-30 or something like that at halftime.
Yeah. You think that kid will end up transferring to a Division I after this year?
Is that Noah Farrakhan?
No,
he plays for Division I. He plays for East Carolina.
He's talking about the McDowell kid.
You're talking about the McDowell kid.
Damon McDowell for North Carolina Wesleyan.
Yeah. Hopefully Farrakhan he's playing for a D1 already. But
I meant to another school.
McDowell, who from what I heard listening to the game, he was highly recruited, then got injured, and ended up not playing basketball his senior year. That's how he ended up at Wesleyan.
That's correct. And Farrakhan was highly recruited and picks East Carolina because of his relationship with Joe Dooley, and Joe being a Jersey guy. And so is Farrakhan. And I tell you what, Farrakhan doesn't look intimidated or scared, Bubba, to be a freshman in a big boy league. And it's good to see him get his first start tonight. And it was smart, I think, by the coaching staff. Don't you think, Bubba, to bring him in on no offense to North Carolina Wesleyan, to bring him in a game like tonight where it's not like it's a conference tournament or the first time you're playing. It's actually you can get the your feet underneath you, so to speak, and you get a chance to play and had some nice minutes.
Yeah, he really did. Before I go back to Noah Faircon, Isaiah Lewis was the other player from North Carolina Wesleyan I was trying to think of. He had a nice game as well, 14 points in 21 minutes, and he has now scored in double figures in all three of North Carolina Wesleyan's games up to this point, which have all been against Division I competition, Elon, Coastal Carolina, and of course East Carolina tonight. But going back to Noah Faircon, yeah, it's nice to be able to ease him in. I think he finished up playing 16 minutes and didn't knock down those 2 threes. He was 2 out of 6 from the floor, 2 out of 5 from 3. Everything tonight with him, as I just stated, was perimeter oriented. You can really still sense his athleticism, though, and I'm looking forward to watching him attack the basket in the future.
No question about it. By the way, folks, we will have post-game comments from Joe Dooley, Jaden Gardner, and Noah Faircon. And Bubba, our good friend B Pays, do you want to put up his comment? Good to see Noah. I want to give a shout out to B Pays. I know he's moved around. He was in the Greenville area for a long time. He's a great Pirate and certainly loves his basketball like us. So B Pays, hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for viewing here tonight. Guys, with the game itself, the great thing you look at it, one of the wrinkles this year that maybe some fans don't know is we start. I think Kyle, you already alluded to the fact that we have SMU coming up, and that'll be on the 16th. So you have 3 home games coming up after tonight. Bubba, it's going to be a nice little stretch to get yourself ready for conference play, which it normally would be like New Year's Day. Instead, it's going to be December 16th.
Yeah, Dave, I'm taking a look at the schedule and the way things are shaping up right now. I'm assuming we have no COVID adjustments. Radford, 2 o'clock on Saturday. UNC Wilmington on the 7th at 7 o'clock. And then North Florida on December 10th at 6 p.m.
How many points did Jaden finish with tonight? 24?
27, 28, 27. It was way up there.
He had 27. And
27, okay.
He was 11 out of 12 from the floor, 27 points in 28 minutes for Jaden Gardner.
It did it so quietly. That's what it wasn't, it wasn't anything flashy tonight. It was just, but another, 27-point performance.
No question about it. But the good news is that Bubba is that Joe Dooley has more pieces now to work with. And the fact that you have Jaden quietly get to 27, but you got a lot of guys you can go to, a lot of guys that are playing really, really good basketball. The good thing is, Kyle, we were talking pre-show. They really didn't play well tonight, but they still win by 29. A good sign for the Pirates that we're more athletic. We have the physicality now that you're looking for, that Joe Dooley talks about, that mental toughness. And guys like Farrakhan, those guys are playing big boy basketball at the high school level. You bring them in because you know that they're not scared. They're not going to oh, gosh, we're playing Memphis tonight or Cincinnati or Houston because they're playing top-level guys that are going to be going to those schools anyway.
Right, yeah. And, as far as tonight's performance, we did what we needed to do. It's hard to get motivated to play, hard-nosed defense when you know you're just going to out-talent them at the offensive end. So it's hard to get motivated to play the kind of defense you did against Charlotte, for example. But no, you're right. When you Jaden Gardner already not intimidated by anybody. You got guys like Farrakhan coming in who have been playing top-notch talent their whole lives in high school and Nike camps and AAU leagues and all that kind of stuff. So they're not going to be intimidated, going into Memphis or Cincinnati or Wichita, wherever. So no, we're building, man. We're building. I think we have the potential this year to be a middle of the pack American team. And, I don't know what kind of postseason play is going to be out there beyond the NCAA, but, who knows? It's early in the year to be talking about that. But, we could be looking at some postseason play, I think, if we continue to develop this year. And, the non-conference schedule kind of is what it is. One thing I do question about the non-conference schedule, Charlotte was good. I think Wilmington's been playing pretty good basketball this year, guys, haven't they? So I mean,
well, they're young. They're young this year, but it's great to have them on the non-conference schedule. The War on the Shore to have them this year. It's in Greenville, one of the non-conference games. So
I thought they had a nice win against somebody. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Kyle, you are correct. UNC Wilmington, after getting routed in their opener by Western Carolina, 98-76. They bounced back. UNC Asheville is steadily improving under their coach Mike Morrell, and they defeated Asheville on their home court, or at least in Asheville. It may have actually been downtown, but 76-68, and then they also beat Troy 73-50.
That's the one I saw, was the win over Troy, Sunbelt team. So yeah, it was 2-1, and so you wonder how well the schedule is going to get us ready for conference play. It kind of is what it is this year, but
right now just a good games. And
yeah, Charlotte and Wilmington, good opponents, and I know nothing about the Highlanders. How is Radford, guys? Our next opponent. How are the Highlanders?
Radford is 0-3. They have been competitive in all three losses, though. They have a very young ball club. They lost 86% of their scoring. They lost 8 pieces from a season ago, including all 5 starters. And so they're really trying to find themselves some. But they ended up losing by 15. But Virginia Tech is obviously pretty solid, and they if not leading the Hokies, were right there at halftime before falling by 15, and then they lost a 3-point game to Norfolk State, and then maybe an 8 or 9 point decision to JMU.
Okay, so even though they lost, it sounds like they're played competitive in all 3 games, including against the Hokies. I mean, so
right.
Worthy competition coming in from Radford Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. So that'll be interesting to see if we can keep improving. As Wilmington, that's one everybody always has circled as Wilmington comes to town Monday.
Monday night. That's right. Monday night. I believe it's at 6:00 with this game. But by the way, folks, the game on Saturday will be 2:00, 1:30 airtime for Jeff Charles and company. So that'll be fantastic with he and Cy Seymour. Appreciate their call tonight. Great job. I want to give a shout out to our friends at ECU. They had a game.
Why the 5:00 tip? Does anybody know why we had a 5:00 tip? I mean, that seemed very odd to me. I know no fans can be there, so you could argue, what does it matter? But I guess, if you'd have started it an hour or 2 later, it would have given people a better time to get home to stream it.
I don't know. I thought that when I saw the time, I looked at it a couple times. I thought that my eyes were playing tricks on me. I've been really tired lately at work. But anyway, if you have some comments you want to put up tonight, we'll get some more fans that are chiming in, friends and fans of ours. So let's put Brendan Shapiro up. He said, saw some really good things tonight. Overall, the 3-point shooting looked a lot better. I'm not convinced we even played to our full potential. I think our talent just greatly outweighed theirs.
No, we haven't even come close in either game to playing to our full potential against Charlotte or against Wesleyan. So that's what excites me. You blow Wesleyan out of the gym. You don't think you played your best. You beat Charlotte at Charlotte for the first time since 1983, and you come away from the offensive side thinking you didn't play well on that end of the ball. So that's what's exciting is, you look at the talent on this team and they keep improving. We could be competitive in this league this year.
Yeah, that's the thing is that we're predicted. I think, Bubba, what is it, 10th overall? I think was over Temple, and
we're predicting 9th.
9th out of 11th. That's right.
We're ahead of Temple and Tulane.
I forget that UConn is no longer with us, but the conference. But so 9th overall, and I really believe that Cy, and we were talking about that. If you could somehow finish 5th or 6th, then you definitely have a shot at being a bubble team for the NIT. You're going to do some post-conference tournament play, if you will, postseason play. So we'll see about that. But right now, you got to play the games. And guys, we have it's very odd we have this year 20 league games instead of 18. 3 games. We'll already have 3 games of conference play under our belt by the end of the year. I mean, that's just amazing. So time.
Then you got a non-conference game against James Madison after conference play starts. How often do you see that happening?
Yeah. So you better be ready. But the good news is we've got definitely have the horses now to compete in a big boy league, like our friend Cy Seymour would say. when you look at the guys, you look tonight. I mean, those guys are long and they're lean, very athletic.
Hey,
We're not.
Bubba, David, didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to remember to tell Bubba this. For whatever reason, my wife Jessica, thinks Cy Seymour sounds like your dad, Gary.
Really?
I would have never guessed that.
I don't hear it either, but that's what she thinks they sound similar. So I don't.
We got to get Cy Seymour and Gary on the same show. Maybe we'll see if they sound.
I don't think they do at all. But that's what she said. So.
Our buddy B Pace has a question there, Bubba. If you're going to put that up, do the basketball players get a free year to like football? And I believe they do, don't they? I believe they do.
That is correct.
Yeah, they do. That's right, B Pace.
So, and that's something that came up with Coach Dooley in multiple press conferences here recently. You've heard Coach Dooley since the time he came back to Greenville talk about getting old and staying old, and obviously unfortunate circumstances, but that could be one positive. If we continue to play well, these guys could be with us for a long time if they want to remain part of the program. We could really get old and stay old.
Does the rule get passed, guys, where guys can transfer without having to sit out once?
They haven't passed. That's something that I don't think they've had a vote on that yet. Not to my knowledge. I haven't heard of the last week or so, but it's coming up. But I don't think they voted on it. Have they, Bubba?
Yeah. I think it's basically a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. You've heard the way the coaches are talking, but I'm not 100% that it's been pushed through just yet.
If they pass that with everybody having an extra year of eligibility, you're good. God Almighty, you're going to see so many transfers. Your head will spin. And I don't just mean in East Carolina. I mean throughout the whole world of college basketball, where transferring is already an epidemic.
Yes, it's a terrible thing because we always want to look out for the players, yes, but the problem is now in the society we live in now, it used to be that when I was growing up and say you go to college, the guy would be a freshman, he'd see some minutes, and then by the time he was a junior, then he was a starter, and the senior, he had a huge year and maybe he has a shot at the pros as far as college basketball. Now, if I don't get minutes now, I'm going here and I'm going there, and it's not like you can only transfer one time, guys. You could transfer one time with no penalty, and you can still transfer after that. You would have to sit out like we're dealing with now. But who's to say a guy could be like a Seth Leday, could like transfer 3 or 4 places? But after you transfer a few times, you probably should look in the mirror and notice that it may not be the coaches or the players. It might just be me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unless the players, I mean, sorry, Bob, I'll say this real quick. Unless coaches are doing something immoral, illegal, or something, that's the only way that you should leave the program. I mean, that's just my opinion. You agree to go to that program, do your best. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. We understand, but a lot of times these guys, the people I'm talking about, they should have gotten 28 or 30 minutes and they only got 15. So anyway, go ahead, Bubba.
Earlier, guys, we referenced how the defensive effort was not what it needs to be, how North Carolina Wesleyan shot 49% from the floor. And here you take a look on the screen for our live viewers as far as these numbers. The Pirates had 17 more shot attempts because they forced 21 North Carolina Wesleyan turnovers. So East Carolina was 34 out of 66, 52%. Meanwhile, North Carolina Wesleyan was 24-49 for 49%. The Pirates, after starting 1 out of 7 from 3, made 8 of their last 16 to finish at 39%, 9 out of 23. Meanwhile, North Carolina Wesleyan was 5 out of 13, 38%. The Pirates finished 14 out of 22 from the line, so not nearly what it needs to be there. But, you expect to get to the line significantly more than a Division III opponent. We did that. We just got to knock more of those down. Held the rebound advantage, not as much as you would have hoped, but 30-25 there, 24-11 in assist. And the Pirates, after turning it over 6 times there in the first half, took better care of the basketball and turned it over 9 total for the game. So kind of like that Charlotte game in the sense that you were kind of sloppy, especially considering North Carolina Wesleyan was playing so much zone, and they went to the zone like Jaden Gardner, references here in a few minutes when we'll hear his post-game comments. They played about 35 minutes of zone tonight, which was good for us because that's something that we need to be able to knock down those perimeter shots and be able to attack that 2-3 zone like North Carolina Wesleyan presented.
Bubba, did Stacy have something she wanted to add?
Apparently.
The fact that we only had 9 turnovers, guys. You remember last year how we had so many turnovers? I mean, it's just like something we've had issues with. Very happy to see that. Yes, you would like Coach Dooley. We'll get to his comments in just a second, but turnovers is something that's plagued this team. And the other thing is the 3-point shooting. I know it's North Carolina Wesleyan. I get that, but they're starting to make more of their shots. When you don't have that many open shots, open looks. So when you have a chance, then go ahead and light it up. And I'm glad to see they're making more right now, and that's a really good thing. So
it's almost
what
like
about
they were overcoached. Against Charlotte, we were throwing up shots way too early, and tonight against Wesleyan, there was open shots and they weren't taking them at times. It almost makes me wonder if I don't know if overcoached or if they took the coaching too hard. Y'all know what I mean?
Yeah.
No question. Guys, Bubba, do you want to go ahead and go to Coach?
Yeah, we'll go to Coach Dooley here in just a moment. B. Pace chiming in saying, did they bench J.J. Miles? No, he was battling an upset stomach. So the good news is that J.J. should be returning to practice tomorrow, like you'll hear Joe Dooley reference here in just a moment. And he should be good to go for Saturday's game against Radford.
That's dynamite.
All right, so let's go to we'll have comments first from Coach Joe Dooley, and as he's going there, let's go to him, and let's go to Coach Joe Dooley, and let's go to him right now.
Guys, good, fire away.
Coach, just your overall thoughts on tonight's win.
Some really good things. Very, very disappointed though in our defense. I was, the number of points given up is an adequate number of points, but the percentages were way too high. We guarded really well that Charlotte the other day, and we were a little lackadaisical, I think, because sometimes when you score easy, you ease up a little bit on defense, and that was disappointing. We've got to get that solved. We gave up way too many easy points, and we did force some turnovers. 21 forced turnovers is a good number. We can't have people shooting that number, especially in our building.
Joe, you did get 17 more shots off than they did. Got out pretty well in transition. This is a group that looks like they're pretty comfortable with one another, and it's getting deeper as you seem to progress here.
We did some. I mean, it's coaches were always negative about everything. The number of turnovers, 9, is a good number. I did think we shared the ball. Sometimes we almost overpassed the ball. I did think that we probably passed up a few good shots, and we had a few bobbles in the first half that were part of those 9 turnovers. We probably could have easily had 5 or 6 turnovers at the most, and that's a good number. We only had turned it over 10 times at Charlotte. Value the ball, get a chance to shoot it. And I talk to with the guys all the time. If we don't turn it over, we can shoot it. And the ball is moving. 24 assists is a good number, and percentage from the field and from the 3-point line are good numbers.
Joe, you got to work against a lot of zone, obviously, tonight. Didn't see a whole lot against Charlotte. That I guess has to be a positive on some level, right?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's great to see it. It's great to see a ton of zone. You go from we played 2 different paces. Charlotte's in the 300s and an adjusted pace, and obviously North Carolina Wesleyan plays a lot faster. So the guys have seen different looks that you're going to see all season. And playing against zone, we work on zone every day, but until you play against it a lot, you just got to get a feel. I did think we found some open windows and were able to pass it. I thought like I said earlier, we passed up some good open shots, but we did also get the ball to the rim a few times to Jade and to Lucci, and for the most part, I was happy with the way we attacked the zone.
Coach Noah getting his first start tonight as a freshman. How did you feel? How did he play tonight?
He played well. I thought he did some good things. The big thing for Noah is to get comfortable with him. And for him, I thought some of the things he did, he guarded the ball pretty well. I think he's starting to understand and see some of the things that, how to empty on screens, how to get through screens, and, just to react a little bit. Our transition defense, our guards didn't watch too much tonight. So, we'll take those clips from that and try to help those guys and teach them from the tape.
With Tremont, again, today, no turnovers. I mean, it seems like he's just really facilitating and kind of embracing that role. I mean, how impressive are you to him with the first 2 games with that?
I mean, he's been terrific with not turning it over. I think that one of the big things for us is, he has really shot the ball well in the preseason. And he turned down too many. I thought he had 3 or 4. He had one right in front of our bench where I thought he should have shot it, and one at the top of the key on the other end where I thought he should have shot it. But he is looking to get guys involved. I think he has a good feel for what we're looking for, and he's got some more experience. He got a year under his belt.
How good was it to see multiple guys step up, kind of knock down some threes tonight, see the ball go through the net for their confidence?
And we got off to a bad start, which so it was good to see the ball go through the basket, because I think we started 0 for 5 or 0 for 6, and to end up with 39%, I think that's a number that we can live with. I thought obviously once Noah hit a couple, it seemed to lighten the load a little bit, and I do think JJ will shoot when we get him back, he'll be in the mid-30s, and that'll be another added weapon for us against zones.
Can you talk a little bit about Luigi DeBoe's progress? He seems to be easing his way back in here a little bit.
Well, he's an energy guy. I mean, you see how many plays he makes around the rim. He's running down loose balls. He's out in transition. He does a lot of things. He talks. He didn't guard the ball on the perimeter as well as he had. He let a couple guys get downhill, which he didn't let the other day. But I do think he adds a whole other dynamic to our lineup.
Coach, what was JJ's status tonight?
He's got an upset stomach, so we've obviously hopefully we'll have him back at some point tomorrow. We're just waiting day by day, and it's been out a day or two, so hopefully we'll hear something in the morning.
Hey, with this setting, obviously, just without fans and kind of the glass and different stuff, will y'all get used to this at some point, you think? I mean, will it take weeks, or does it every game it gets used to it? What do you think about that?
It'll probably take a little bit. The one thing it doesn't do is, it doesn't change your depth perception. I mean, that's that, so you get into these arenas, and so that sometimes it's a little bit different. Charlotte blacked out some of the upper deck the other day. They had curtains, so it didn't look as empty, to tell you the truth. I don't know that you're going to, but you're not really focused. Once you start playing, you're really not focused on all that other stuff, to tell you the truth. You're not worried with there's crowd or there's no band. I think the big thing is really just focus on playing. I thought our guys' energy on the bench was good, supporting each other, and we'll just keep playing it by ear.
Anything else, guys?
Joe, could you give a kind of a look at Radford? Obviously, they've had some great success the last couple of years, a younger team this year, but they're well coached.
Very well coached. They, unfortunately for them, they got hit with the grad transfer bug. Lost a really good player. Their guards are young. They've got 2 double-figure scores. Had a chance to win at James Madison the other day. Had a struggle with Norfolk State. I thought they played really well, especially towards probably about the first 30 minutes against Virginia Tech. It was a dogfight against Virginia Tech. So, we've already started to prepare for them. We've got to get our defense lined up because they can push the ball in transition and score.
Coach, Tristan didn't shoot the ball very well tonight, but just talk about everything he brings to the table: 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals.
Well, I mean, he's a threat, even when he's not making shots. The other thing is, I think, like we keep talking about, and you guys know it, is that when a guy can make a shot, it stretches the floor. And people are going to respect and guard him. That's why hopefully when we get JJ back, and if Brandon continues to develop, the floor will get a little bit wider, which will create driving lines. And that's a big thing for us. I thought that, Tristan does, he's got good height. People don't realize how tall he is. He can facilitate for himself. He can facilitate for others. And, he's athletic. He's a big guard. He goes in there, rebounds, which I love, because then we can get out and transition quicker.
Like one more, guys, if any. Thanks, folks.
Have a good night, guys.
Dave, you're muted.
I don't know why it was muted. I was talking and it was not muted, and then muted. So Anyway, Coach Joe Dooley there. Appreciate his comments after the game, and it's been great for us to have him back, have that coaching staff back. You look at the team, as we mentioned, and Bubba, I know you had some individual stats you wanted to.
Yeah,
put
we
up
talked
tonight.
about how Jaden Gardner had 27 points in 28 minutes. Taking a look at those numbers, Jaden was 11 out of 12 from the floor. We had 4 guys in double figures. Brandon Suggs finished with 14 and 5, knocking down both of the 3-pointers he attempted, which is huge. And Tristan Newton, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. There with, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 minutes left. He already had 11, 7, and 7. I thought he may get a triple double, but
the fig close to the triple double.
And then Batumba had 10 points and 6 rebounds. Another solid game for him. And there you see McDowell and Lewis, who had solid games that we've already talked about for North Carolina Wesleyan. And then Tremont Robinson White, 5 assists, no turnovers against Charlotte. He follows that up with 9 assists, 0 turnovers tonight. Last year, he was battling injuries and making the transition to Division I basketball, but 56 assists, 62 turnovers last year. This year, 14-0 assists to turnovers through 2 games.
That's
can't beat perfect.
Yeah, that's solid. Hey, McDowell, Jeff Charles cracked me up during the game. McDowell played his high school basketball down in South Carolina at Myrtle Beach at Carolina Forest High School.
Yeah.
And
Mason Dixon.
Mason Garcia's got a new name, Mason Dixon.
Yeah, that's how that.
I
heard him say that.
That cracked me up, but love the voice. Even the best makes mistakes.
Oh yeah, I mean, no doubt, and the very fact that Mason Garcia, a huge future for the Pirates coming up, no doubt about it. We'll have by the way, I know we're doing our basketball overtime. We'll have our season finale show coming up in the next day or two, so stay tuned for that. We'll have other programming to talk about
for football.
Right now,
season finale for football.
Yes, for football, and appreciate everybody hanging in there with us. A lot of viewers tonight. If you have comments for Facebook or YouTube, be sure to put those up there. And we're going to have comments from Jaden Gardner and Noah Farrakhan coming up too, and the matter of a minute or so. So hang in with us for that. We want to remind you again, the next game, of course, for basketball is coming up on Saturday. I just hate that there's going to be no fans in the stands. It looks like
you know what, Dave. The no fans thing, and I get it, and I know the NCAA is in charge of all this. They have so much more say over things in football than they do in basketball than they do FBS football. And I get we're indoors versus outdoors, but if you could just have the band and the cheerleaders in the stands for basketball, that would create so much noise in an arena versus even 7% of fans for football. It could create a real atmosphere. I wish they would at least let the band and the cheerleaders and dance teams be in the stands. I mean, you could social distance them all apart. I mean, it would be nice to create a little bit of atmosphere.
No doubt about it, and we'll see. As Jeff Charles mentioned again tonight on the broadcast, one of our good friend for many years. Appreciate you, buddy, for the great call as always. And to mention the fact, no fans for the month of December. And it may not be, they haven't made a decision yet. It may not be for the whole season. We'll see. But, Bubba, I know right now we have Jaden Gardner ready to go.
Yep, and we'll hear now from junior Pirate forward, Jaden Gardner.
All right, Jaden, 27 points for you tonight. Talk a little bit about what was working well for you, in your game a little bit.
Just my teammates set me up and finding me. Credit to them. I got out to some easy buckets early, forced off turnovers. We had 24 assists tonight, so they were finding me and setting me up, and I was just letting the game come to me tonight. That's all.
Jaden, you talked a lot about, focusing on you guys' core principles, defending X's and O's. How do you think y'all did tonight with that?
We need some work. We need some work on it. They had a lot of tough shots tonight. Credit to them. They came in here. And hooped their hearts out. We just got to get better at contesting shots and boxing out and using our length more. and I think we're ready to go. I mean, second game of the season, got a lot of things to improve on. I played basketball in a long period of time, so it's expected, but we'll get better as the season goes on.
Hey, Jaden, we talked the other day about playing at home and this environment and arena and whatnot. I mean, how did it go from that standpoint? I mean, it's you're used to, a guy that feeds off the crowd. What was that like? And it's something y'all just have to kind of get used to, obviously, this year?
Yeah, it's been just feed off the bench and just keep playing our game. It still felt like I was at home. Same court, same nets. Everything was falling. Everybody tonight. I think everyone shot pretty good from the field. So it's nice to be at home, trying to use the bench to create our offense.
Jaden, you're up to a 2-0 start. I know you got to be happy with that. I know it's those games are now in the past. What do you guys have to do to continue this win streak?
We just got to keep improving, keep getting better. Just keep building on our principles on defense and keep trusting ourselves. The offense will come, but we got to get better on defense. And once we get better on defense, we can be a more well-balanced team. And I think we can keep going forward. So that's what we got to keep working on these next few games for conference.
Jaden, was it good to face zone defense tonight? I mean, it's something you guys don't see a ton of. So is that a good experience?
Yes, Coach talked about it. We don't see zone that often, so it was good to work against our defense. We might go like 10 minutes a day against zone defense. So it was good to see. Probably ran it 8, probably went zone after first 5 minutes of the game. So 35 minutes of zone. So it was good to work on it.
Anything else for Jaden, guys? All right, thanks.
Thanks to Jaden Gardner. Appreciate him very much as he's really come on strong, and each year he seems like his game is going to get bigger and bigger, guys. And I really believe if they are going to give an extra, which they are, extra year of eligibility, his stock definitely could go up, and maybe he could sneak in a second round of the NBA draft in a couple of years. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, he's focusing on his college game, and certainly, I'm just really happy with the start so far. With the very fat guys that you're looking at with East Carolina and with sports in general with COVID. Just the fact that you're getting games is great. And the fact you don't worry about your opponent. The Pirates certainly took care of business tonight and have the next game Saturday. Kyle, I know that fans not being in the stands plays a big part. And like you were talking about with the cheerleaders, and I know they're off right now thanks to BPA's mentioned that they won't be back until January, but certainly wouldn't hurt to have the dance team and cheerleaders and the band if you could somehow space them out when they do come back in
they're off because they're not allowed to be in the stadium or because they're not allowed to be in the arena. If they were allowed to be in there, they probably wouldn't be off. But it's just where we're at right now with COVID, and believe me, I've had COVID, so I'm not discounting it. It's no fun, and I had a non-deadly case, thankfully. So I'm not. Believe me, I believe now more than ever in needing to social distance and wear your mask. But I just think there's a way you could do it safely with the band and the cheerleaders and the dance team. You cross the board in college basketball. And speaking of college basketball, guys, some big games on right now. Kansas and Kentucky is on ESPN if anybody wants to watch it.
Good question, Bubba. Hey, by the way, want to mention too that let's go to our next player in Noah Farrakhan. You got him ready?
Yeah, the highly talented freshman guard for East Carolina, Noah Farrakhan. 6 points, 3 assists tonight in his first action as a Pirate. And let's hear from Noah Farrakhan right now.
Hey, guys, let's take questions for Noah.
Noah, you got your first experience in college ball tonight, and you look comfortable right off the bat. Talk about how it felt for you out there to hit your first 2 shots.
Felt good. Felt amazing. Give credit to my team first and foremost. For them encouraging me, keeping me level-headed. And, it was just a great experience to be out there with them.
Noah, how have you embraced this role? Obviously, coming off the bench and trying to provide the team with a spark. I mean, you did that tonight. Is that kind of how you're going to approach these next few games? It's obviously different from when you were, the star player on your team in high school, that type of thing.
There's no difference. I'm a team player for sure. And, when the guys are rolling, I just want to be the big supporter. Any way I can get in, fit in. That's the role I play here, and just continue to work hard every day, and that's really the motto. I mean, Coach Dooley, he knows what he's doing, so I believe in him. So it was a good outing tonight.
Noah, talk about the transition you make now from high school, where you're like the big man on campus, to now where you're the freshman. How much of a change is it from the high school ball to college ball?
It's been a huge change. I can't lie to you, but overall the transition, the guys making me feel more at home, more welcome. My coaches, they're more encouraging, so it's made the transition so much easier. And that's why you can see the confidence when I come in the game. It looks natural. So it's been real well.
How odd was it for your home opener in college to be in front of no fans? I mean, I know you guys played at Charlotte in front of no fans, but in a traditional sense, you'd be welcomed by a big crowd. So is that kind of different?
Yeah, it's different. I'm used to playing in front of a lot of guys, and it was a little weird at first, but then you just think about it as like playing open gym with the guys and just against another team. So it's a weird, but it's a good experience at the same time.
Anything else from you guys? All right, thanks, Noah. Guys, hang tight and coach a bit.
All right, Noah Farrakhan, the freshman guard there, one of the big recruits for Joe Dooley's 2.0 career, second time around for Dooley, as you know, and season number 3. I think a huge year. I know it's 2 games in. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I think it's going to be a huge year for the Pirates, as we talked about in the beginning of overtime this show. The very fact that they didn't play very well, but yet they still took care of business, 91-62 tonight over the battling Bishops of North Carolina Wesleyan and Rocky Mount. So a great win for the Pirates, Kyle, and now it's Radford.
Yeah, they asked Noah about the transition from high school to college. I'd like to ask him about the transition from New Jersey to Greenville. Is he getting used to being in the South and Eastern North Carolina barbecue and a little bit different culture down here than up there? I'd like to know how that transition is going for him.
And what's his favorite barbecue place, right?
I don't know that he has one yet, but it should be Bees. But who knows? I always find it interesting when guys from the Northeast come down here and what they think of the area. So some people, when they come down here, they love it. They take right to it, and other guys, it takes them a while.
No doubt about it. In fact, we're going to now move Bubba to Radford. Radford is on the clock for 2:00 on Saturday. Again, it'll be a 1:30, a 2:00 tip-off, and 1:30 will be when the Pirate Radio Network goes on the air with Jeff Charles and.
Is that a ESPN Plus game, guys, or is that one streamed on ECUpirates.com?
That one, let's see, for that game on Saturday, it will be ESPN Plus.
All right.
So it looks like it'll be, I think the next 3 that we have are definitely ESPN Plus next week. This one was obviously add-on game, so that's why they did what they did tonight, this late afternoon. So, Bub, I know with Radford, we want to talk about that and wrap up the show.
Yeah, we touched on Radford and, from the standpoint of them losing so much off of last year's team, but this is a program that's used to winning. Mike Jones is in his 10th season there. He took over a program back in 2011 and 2012 that had won just 5 games prior to his arrival. Year 1, he only won 6, but then year 2, won 13, and 5 out of the last 7, he's won at least 21 ball games. So this is a program that has established a winning culture, to say the least. And so don't let that 0-3 mark fool you. Yes, they have new players, but this is a program that's used to winning. So hopefully we'll come out on Saturday, tighten the screws on some of those things, like falling asleep on the inbounds passes and some of the silly turnovers we had, even though we haven't turned the ball over much this year. And a lot of the ones that we had against Charlotte as well as tonight were just ones that were unforced. So tighten the screws there, and I like our chances of getting to 3-0 on Saturday against the solid Radford program.
And guys, cardboard cutouts. I don't know when they're going to start showing up. $50 a pop. Anybody you guys would like to see, or any characters, any animals? I mean, what would you guys like to see cardboard cutouts of at Williams Arena Minges Coliseum? Who or what?
Well, since you had a nice theme at the beginning of the show, what about Rudolph for this time of year?
You're Rudolph, okay? There you go. Any Bubba?
I think one of the things we're going to see, I mean, whether it's a Shane Carden or some of our more recognizable athletes, whether it's from recent history or maybe guys that played, Dwayne Harris, Justin Hardy, different ones like that. I think you may see that and recognizable alums, maybe whether it's a Vince McMahon or someone like Sandra Bullock. Who knows? There are plenty of options and directions to go with that, and that's something that I know. I think you and I have talked about it, Kyle. I know Dave and I have, in terms of using that to maybe get some attention, not only for the program but around the country, not only with the East Carolina alums and recognizable faces with Pirate Nation, but whether it's Dick Vitale or different celebrities.
Yeah,
Hey,
one idea I had is the Bark in the Park is always a big success. So why not let's do one game where we advertise it, where people can pay $50 like always, but we have one game where we try to get everybody to maybe get a couple thousand cardboard cutouts of their dogs and have
that's a great idea.
Have Bark at the Coliseum, or I don't know what the hell you'd call it, but Pirate basketball's gone through the dogs, and just dogs throughout the whole stadium. People spend money. People love their damn pets. That might get people to spend their $50 more than anything to see their dog on TV.
That's true. I like that. Hey, sign me up for any way we can get more money in there, for sure. How about Brendan's comment? Can we put that up on the screen above? He said he'd like to see a cardboard cut up of a pissed off Kyle from LaGrange.
Brendan, you know what? I'll take the picture. You spend the $50.
There you go. That sounds like a great partnership. Sounds good. And then Brendan puts up Scott Van Pelt, SVP. Love that. Huge fan of SVP.
How about a cardboard cutout of Coach Houston knocking the shit out of what's his face? Help me out, Bubba.
I don't know where you're going.
Yeah,
the former punter that thinks he's a tough guy and thinks he's a wrestler now.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Well, why not have Houston? And by the way, McAfee. He's wanting to get involved in WWE. He thinks he's a tough guy. He was a friggin' kicker. I think Mike Houston would whip the dog crap out of Pat McAfee.
Oh,
Pat McAfee likes to talk crap. Why don't you step in the ring? Why don't we have a shoot fight and let's have a fundraiser and have Pat McAfee versus Mike Houston and see who wins.
That would be a great PPV, great pay-per-view, and certainly we could do that at Williams Arena. I mean, that guy was out of control. He was that was so ludicrous, and I know that part of it may have been tongue in cheek, but for him to say what he's
well, look, Dave, I don't know if you realize this. When I say he wants to get involved
after that game,
when I say he wants to get involved in wrestling, I'm not joking. He currently has a contract with WWE and is in WWE developmental and NXT.
Right.
He thinks he's a tough guy. He's a trash talking clown. He's a trash talking clown. And what he hadn't done is he hasn't met the original trash talking clown, and that'd be me, Kyle from LaGrange. And if Pat wants to talk trash, look, I don't know Houston ain't much of a trash talker. I'll manage Mike Houston. Pat can step in the ring with Coach Houston. I'll talk the trash for Houston, and then I just let Mike Houston knock him the hell out.
Yeah, Houston's going to talk with his fist or that bionic elbow, or he'll knock him right out. I think, hey, by the way, we'll call him Iron Mike Houston, right? I mean, he could just get one punch in, and
you saw at Temple, man. His biceps were about to explode out of his shirt after that win. So
no question about it.
It might be on the juice. I don't know.
I don't know, but I put my money on Mike Houston. He's a winner through and through. Can't wait to do our season-ending show coming up here in the next day or two. That's going to be a lot of fun. And certainly Coach Houston had a press conference today to end that. We'll be talking about that later on. Great victory for the Pirates tonight, 91-62. Do you guys have anything before we go?
Last thing I have, Dave, is, Brennan brought up Scott Van Pelt. SVP was chiming in on Saturday when we were up 45-7 at halftime. The ECU football Twitter, which is, of course, at ECU Pirates FB, that account tweeted that is not a misprint with the 45-7 halftime score. And then Scott Van Pelt responded or quote tweeted it and said no quarter.
There you go.
Exactly.
Appreciate the attention. Yeah, and hopefully more of that to come next year. And I got a feeling there will be.
Yeah, I loved his reaction after the Tulsa game. That was classic and legendary. So appreciate SVP for all the support he's given the Pirates this season, and certainly next season. It's going to be fantastic. And I tell you what, hey, Bubba, can you go back and put up Pirate Owl? This is a great way to end the show. His comment, if you can scroll back up. And Pirate Owl, we love him. Alan Powell says, we're winning the NIT this year and going to Omaha in baseball. Pirate Owl, I love you, man. You know what? You know why that is not ridiculous? Because, as we say all the time, it's 2020. How can you explain ECU?
Not for much longer, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt. We've got a month. Anyway,
hey, I'll make one last comment for my part. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just have a good feeling about basketball. And I know when you're 2-0, it's easy to have that feeling. But I'm not the biggest basketball guy. It's just football, then baseball, then basketball typically. But I don't know. Just for some reason, I'm enjoying it so far this year. And obviously, it's easy to enjoy it when you're winning. But I just got a good feeling that this is going to be a fun season for basketball.
No question. And you look at baseball, Cliff Godwin's what can you say? Nothing bad on this podcast that we're going to say about Cliff Godwin. We love that guy and what he's doing. Dietrich, they've got the arms this year for baseball. So basketball and baseball are going to be even better. And then, football with 21, telling you it's going to be a great year to be a Pirate. Go ahead and get on the bandwagon. One more thing, Bubba, before we go. I don't know if you have that for us at the bottom of the screen, the ticker, but I will definitely please give money to the Pirate Club. They had the guess the score, and they had that, and of course you can donate the score. What was it? $52.38, or it was $523.80. Whatever you can give, but give them a call. Whatever you can give them a call. 252-737-4540. Again, 252-737-4540. Give them a call. And it's going to be fantastic. I appreciate, Bubba, your hard work behind the scenes on getting everything ready for tonight. Fans, thank you so much. Until next time, we'll have our next day or two, our season-ending show for football. We have the preview for Radford, and we'll have the post-game, our overtime for Radford Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. So we'll do that and much more. And until next time, you've been watching and listening to Pirate Basketball Overtime right here on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. Go Pirates.